Delegate Weitzel, it's been interesting times in Annapolis. Is there any good news to report from down there, or is it all pretty dismal?
Well, it's not totally dismal. A few things interesting are happening down here. It appears that a lot of the tax proposals that the governor has requested or suggested are not going to come into fruition. It appears that the governor's just threw a whole lot of tax proposals out there and slammed them against the wall and hoped that something would fall out. The one big thing that it's really good news to report is it appears that the gasoline tax is dead, and also the recording the tax on the deduction for interest and stuff on when you purchase a home on your interest deductions. There was a proposal to take those away, and that appears to be dead also. So the one thing that's being offered up or suggested to replace it, though, is a 2.5%. I mean, a 0.25% increase in the income tax, the Maryland state income tax, and this would generate approximately $500 million for the state of Maryland, and it kind of surplants the numbers that they were looking for from the other taxes. And the one thing this does that I think is more, and not that I'm in favor of it, but it is more equitable and everything else that was suggested, is that this is something that everyone is burdened with, and especially not everyone, but those people that are required to pay income taxes. So we're still fighting the battle down here on these issues, and as everyone knows, the gay marriage bill passed, and there will be an effort to petition that to referendum, and you'll be hearing more about that. We're going into a hearing here shortly on the BRFA bill. The BRFA is the Budget Reconciliation and Finance Act, and this is where the governor puts forth certain proposals to balance the current budget year. And one of the issues on that's being looked at is they want to take away the coal tax credit again. So we'll be fighting that also.
The county commissioners from around the state held press conferences this past week about the moving of teacher pensions to, or half of the teacher pension costs to the counties. Has there been any movement on that issue in Annapolis?
There has been some movement on that issue, and it appears the governor is getting obviously a lot of pressure on the issue. And the latest thing that I heard on that was that they're looking perhaps to extend the 50% portion that the governor's proposing to push back on the counties, to extend that out over a 3-year period rather than doing it in 1 year. From I haven't seen anything formally on it, but he isn't giving up on doing it. Apparently, still wants to do it, but will stretch out the period of time in which it would occur.
There was a Marcellus Shale hearing held in Hagerstown recently, and the thing that struck me about that hearing as unfair was that it was held in Hagerstown when most of the impact of Marcellus Shale, and whether you're pro or con on the shale, you'd have to drive to Hagerstown to kind of get a first-hand update and to say anything. Does that strike you as wrong?
Well, the governor created the Marcellus Shale Commission by executive order.
Right.
And fortunately, Senator Edwards serves on that commission. I was not selected to serve on the commission. They appointed a anti-shale person from Montgomery County to serve on it. A lot of the people that serve on that commission are from down in this area. The people that were appointed that were selected to serve on the commission. The previous meeting before this last meeting was held here in Annapolis in order for the delegate and the our good Senator George Edwards to, since we're in session. So that they've had one meeting down here, and now this one's in Hagerstown. And I think probably, future meetings in the summer months and stuff will be back in Garrett County or Allegheny County.
Well, I would certainly hope so, because there's a lot of folks with a lot of interest. Like I said, pro or con, whether you like that or not, you'd like to be able to have access to your government and the decision makers on that issue, and that just doesn't seem like the most productive way of making sure that happens.
Well, I agree with you totally, since only 2 counties in the state of Maryland have Marcellus Shale, or Garrett and Allegheny. And everything that they're working on and the issues that they'll be deciding only impact these 2 counties. But if you look at some of the issues that they're dealing with and some of the things that are coming out of this, there are, I think, somewhere around 15 bills that have been introduced in the House and Senate this year pertaining to the Marcellus Shale or drilling or taxing. And one of the proposals is they want to put a 15% severance tax on the natural gas that would be extracted if and when we ever get to drill. And all this is being done before one horizontal drilling using the fracking technique has even taken place in the state of Maryland. So without having drilled one well, there's something like 15 bills dealing with the issues, and this is just on the first portion of the study that the Marcellus Shale Commission is conducting, and their first charge was to figure out how to tax this industry in order to before they even come up with regulations and before they even would issue one permit to drill a well. So the commission has until 2014 to complete their work. It appears that they will take all that time to complete their work, and we're trying to push them to complete their work in a more timely fashion, and at least get around to where they would issue a drilling permit so that they could study the issue, if necessary, in the state of Maryland, rather than having to drive to West Virginia or Pennsylvania or somewhere else to look at a well.
The educational funding issue, Garrett County, of course, looking at a 12% cut if things would stand as they are from the state and the formula there. Has there been any progress or meetings this week that could lead to a limitation of that to the 5% you guys have proposed?
Well, Senator Edwards has introduced a bill on the Senate side. I've introduced the same bill on the House side. I have not had a hearing on the bill yet, and I'm not sure where Senator Edwards stands. But we'll be trying very hard to limit the amount of reduction in funding from the state to the counties at 5%, and that in itself is a huge hit. And if we don't limit it to, if we can't get that pushed through, and if we can't reduce the impact of what they're doing to our 2 counties out there. In Allegheny County, their cut is something like 5.5%. So even at 5%, they don't get a big benefit from the bill, but every little bit helps. But in Garrett County, where we're looking at 11.8% cut, then this would be huge. But one thing the governor has proposed is an additional amount of funding that would help offset the teachers' transfer pension cost if that takes place, and obviously if that doesn't take place, then his proposal to provide some additional funding for that purpose won't take place either. But the proposal that he's doing, if they transfer the teachers' pension funds, 50% of them to the county, then he will provide some additional funds this year for that, but next year we get the full hit again. So the impact then will continue to move forward and have to be dealt with each year.
Is the administration beating you up any on the fact that you want to limit taxes, but at the same time you want to kind of get more money for your county at the same time? That sometimes I know I've heard the governor even in the past, when you guys have been at the same event, he kind of pokes fun at you. I think maybe at Pace a year or two ago, he poked fun at you and Senator Edwards for doing that.
Well, that's almost a continuous process down here. What they try to do is twist your arm to support something that they want, and then offer some carrot in order to do it. Obviously, both Senator Edwards and I will not compromise our principles or do things that we feel are not in the best interest of our counties in order to be bought out on something. So we will fight hard to reduce these negative impacts on funding coming from the state to the counties, but not make a deal to sacrifice something that we all have to live with for a long period of time.
You missed a big rainstorm up here Wednesday night.
Well, it actually hit down here too. It rained pretty hard, so I guess as Senator Edwards liked to say, good things start in the west and come eastward. But I guess a rainstorm may not be exactly what you consider a good thing if it's if it started out here and came this way. So we travel home every weekend, and if the folks out there have anything that are concerning them, and we're trying to keep them informed with our newsletters down here, and so anyone that has any concerns on any of these issues, we're happy to hear from them.
All right, Delegate Wendell Beitzel, thanks for your time and good luck, and be safe on your trip back and forth. Okay.
Thanks, Paul.